Court ruling make it seem like the big fish will never be caught.
Again, once again, greetings to all your viewers. This whole issue of OSP is one that, to me, is giving me two different thoughts. Okay. On the one hand, we have a special prosecutor who is failing. Okay. Okay. And an OSP office that hasn't worked out. That's very clear. Did you say he's failing? Yes. Okay. That's my view. No, go on. All right. And an office that clearly is also failing because we had a resignation. It hasn't worked out. Okay. This is the reality. And then we have the special prosecutor an ideal on the other hand. Okay. I disagree, even though I admit I'm technically, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not a technical person in the area. All right, so I don't have the technical expertise to advise, so to speak, or express an authoritative opinion on such matters. So I concede that. However, I know in other jurisdictions, for example, in the U.S., they have special prosecutors. And it exists in their constitution, even though they have an Attorney-General that's responsible for prosecutions as well. You understand? But we have seen Ken Starr and other prosecutors that have come out, which means that the power of the Attorney-General can be delegated. Again, I'm speaking from someone who follows the law, knows a little bit about the law, but not a lawyer. Okay. So we've seen in very advanced democracies, America has had constitutionalism for like 300 years. So we can't sit here and say that the idea of the special prosecutor in and of itself is unconstitutional. It's not true. It cannot be true. If it's okay in America, I believe that they know a thing or two about democracy and the rule of law. Right? So it can coexist. And the power of the Attorney General can be delegated. And this is how that law came about. He himself concedes that the president is a lawyer. And there are many lawyers in our parliament. They pass the law. There is always disagreement and schools of thoughts when it comes to the law. And you cannot have all lawyers who are going to have the same opinion on anything, virtually. So it's normal. However, it doesn't mean that the fact that there is some debate or controversy about any law makes it invalid. Because, as I said, I gave an example of how it works in the U.S. They delegate those powers. If you look at, I was looking at, is it Act 959? I was looking at it this morning, and I saw the governing board of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And these are basically a collection of people from YOCO, Audit Service, and all these very important applicable offices. They come together and they govern. If we need to strengthen that, so be it. Let's do that. But to make it seem that this is unconstitutional, I beg to differ. I just don't understand that. Unless, I'm sorry, then, right? Because we're questioning that the fact that we have giving powers to the special prosecutor to prosecute makes it somehow extra constitutional. That's at least the argument that's out there. And then this idea that cases that are under the special prosecutor have to move to the Attorney General. Yeah. This means that this government doesn't want to fight corruption. It's very clear.
That's what you believe.
It's not belief. I believe it strongly. Because you know why? You know what happened to me? I'll tell Ghanaians right now. Somebody forged my signature. Okay? When I was CEO. A worker. At GIFEC. Okay.
Oh, really?
And this went to the board. This person was working at the stores. I didn't want to talk about it because I try not to be personal. And you know what happened? The case was reported to the authorities at some point for this person to be prosecuted. As soon as we left and this new government came in, You know what? They didn't fight the case. The person is back in office as we speak, working. If I ever have any opportunity to work again in government, this person has to be tried. So you cannot have, it's not proper, it's not normal to have the same government be essentially prosecuting their own people. And we've seen all the prosecutor. You can see it. They don't want to try their own people. The NDC is making so much noise. I just saw my colleague and my brother here shaking his head when I said that they don't want to fight corruption. You want to fight corruption? If MPP had done this knowledge prosecutor, what would people be saying here in Ghana? This government is on a dishonest, okay? I have to be honest. They are being so hypocritical, doing things that if MPP was doing, they will be up in arms. They will be on the streets. They think they are loud. They think that they can get away with everything. Muscle everybody. Yeah. Muscle all voices. Stop the prosecutions. Things that if MPP was doing, they will be on the streets.
But it's, if you have evidence of it, have you tried trying the case personally? You know, taking the case to court yourself? It's
not personal, all right? This has to do with something that happened with the organization's assets.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And of course, they didn't enter any defense, or at least the prosecution failed to appear, and they got a default judgment. So the person is back at work. How are you trying to fight corruption? Why wouldn't you beef up the delegation authority of the special prosecutor so that he, even if this person is not good, let's make sure that we don't attack a law. They will do this, and you watch NDC. As soon as they go to opposition, which they shall, they will now be coming in, trying to use the special prosecutor office with the MPP. My brother here was making an accusation. I was taken aback by it.
That's your time.
Just one more minute, please. I beg you. I'll end in 1 minute.
30 seconds.
He was making this accusation that Nanado wanted to use a special prosecutor to go after. Why couldn't he use the Attorney-General to do that? This government is doing that very well. He meant more, clearly, even if it hasn't worked out, as I admit. It has not worked out. That's the truth. But we need to understand the intention. It cannot be questioned.
Okay.
It clearly cannot be questioned because he could have used his Attorney-General to go after anybody he wanted.
All right.
If that's what he wanted to do.
So,
please.
So who now has the real power to fight corruption? Is it the special prosecutor or the Attorney-General?
Okay.